Steve, how you doing today, man?
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Welcome to episode 4 of John Kersey's Corner. And I'm honored to have my man, Steve Shane, on here today. He's actually my neighbor, lives right down the street from me. And not only that, he's an outstanding real estate agent and operates one of the best teams in the area, Porchlight, powered by EXP. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Steve, thanks for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And tell us a little bit about your team and what you guys do every day on a day-to-day basis.
Well, we launched our team in December of 2020. So we were basically starting from zero production entirely. It is now, is it June of 2022? We're up to 7 agents. We did 20 million April to April of last year. We've already sold all the homes we sold last year, and then we have another, 20 some in in pending status. So we're on track right now, ideally to sell around 100 homes this year, going from absolutely zero roughly a year and a half ago. So we're pretty pumped about the growth. I was a Keller Williams productivity coach. I was a Tom Ferry coach. I've taken a lot of time to learn how to build really good systems and really good businesses. And taking that and applying that to how to grow a team very quickly, and also partnering with amazing mentors has been able to take our growth from, what an average agent would do in, a year, we're doing a month right now.
That's incredible. So starting out with an amazing year and then looking to almost double it this year.
We'll probably triple production this year.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's insane. And especially since even the market's ticked down, you've established yourself to where you put yourself and your team in a position to where you're able to be one of the, mainstays in the area. That's really awesome. What are some of the strategies that you tell your team and clients? Because the purpose of this YouTube podcast type deal is to not only serve agents in the area, to also serve clients that are interested in real estate. So, we meet with you every week and talk about different ways to help win. What are some strategies that you share in this current market with your agents on your team and your clients that are helping you win deals? Because it's kind of getting towards to be maybe into a buyer's market, but it's still super competitive out there, right? So yeah. What are some ways that you guys are seeing that are helping you win right now?
Well, the market itself is helping our clients win, because the people who are going to win right now are the people who are just going to stay in the game. There's a lot of noise out in the media, and the media is selling advertising, and they don't care how they get your attention. They're selling advertising. So if it's blood in the streets, they're going to talk about that because you pay attention to that. Is that accurate to what's actually happening in the market? No, it's not. Because once you unpack everything, you realize, okay, in 2004, we had this insane run up due to the bad mortgage, system that was created. Then that bottom fell out, and we dropped from 2008 to 2015. We had a completely insane market the opposite way. And then we've had a bear market. I always forget these. Yeah, a bull market from 2015 till basically today, where over the past 20 years, we haven't had a stable real estate market at all. So the average real estate agent and the average real estate buyer or seller doesn't know how to operate in a stable, balanced market. And what we're about to experience is one of our first stable, balanced markets since the late 90s. We're going to get back to standard 6 to 8% interest rates, and people are going to get comfortable with that again, because that will be the standard, because it's been the standard for 30 plus years.
Yeah.
So ideally, we're going to have a balanced market. We're not going to see double-digit losses or double-digit growth across the country. In Jacksonville as a whole, I think we're going to see, 9 to 12% appreciation for the next 3 years, personally, even in what is likely what we already are in a recession, because of the massive amount of growth that is coming to Jacksonville. The Urban Land Institute, I love them. They called Jacksonville this past year a supernova city, which means that the growth that they're expecting here is going to put us on the same page as Nashville and Austin. And if you've been to Nashville or Austin right now, they are insanely dense, popular, hip cities, and we're next, according to Urban Land Institute, and they haven't been wrong. And we are stacked for growth when it comes to transportation, healthcare, fintech that's coming into the city. So we're going to be attracting a lot of people. Jacksonville is on the come up. So again, going back to all that, like the reason I go into all that
that's
is
so exciting. That's exciting. It's exciting times to be in this area and be in real estate. You know, I mean, you look at those two cities.
If you don't know that information, if you don't know that information, you're going to hear what you see on Yahoo Finance and freak out. If your team or your real estate agent is not telling you the facts about what's happening locally, because real estate is a local business, then you're going to be making decisions based on the wrong market, and you're going to pull out and you're going to miss out the equity that's going to happen to the city. You're going to buy at a higher interest rate because you waited, you know? So we're just educating our buyers. Hey, this is what's happening in Jacksonville. This is what's happening in this neighborhood in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Because if we do that, your informed people make better decisions. But
this is why there's so much value in what you do and what your team does and what we do here locally, is because not everyone knows that. And a lot of people are moving from other areas to here, and they know nothing about that. And they don't know the possibilities of what they're investing in opposed to different areas. And you can't just base off what you're doing here locally off what's happening around the country, right? So it's super. That's why the purpose of why I got this going is because this is a conversation me and you would have on our street, you know, maybe just biking down the street, walking the dogs, but it's super important. And that's why you guys bring such a big value, you know?
Well, and we also make a real big effort to partner with experts. That's why you are on, like, our team has a daily huddle Monday through Friday. We meet every day for 30 minutes to talk about what's going on with people's contracts on our team and what's happening in the market. Yeah. You're there every Tuesday for us because we're going to get it from the horse's mouth. We're not going to get it from an inappropriate news source. We're going to get it from the person who's in the trenches doing it every day, so we can help our people make informed decisions. There are a lot of real estate agents who treat themselves as salespeople. Our team does not do that. We are fiduciaries, and what that means is we're going to help you make the same decisions that we would make if it were our own money.
Right.
And it's really important to us that we're giving you the value to make a good decision. And now that also means that we're shifting our conversation with our consumer now, because it's not about how much money are you going to miss by buying into this. It's okay, the economics of the society as a whole are going to change so dramatically over the next 2 years that how do you secure your livelihood that if there is a major shift in your personal life situation, you lose your job or you got to move or something like that, you have a stable foundation in your home because you've locked in the cheapest home and the cheapest rate possible by buying now, as opposed to, again, waiting when landlords can change their prices and things like that.
Yeah. So, basically what you're saying is to try and be as most educated as you can advisor out there. And that's going to help you win right now, is to be the most knowledgeable and to know what's going on out there in the market. And to your point, I think it's such a great time to buy, just so you can securitize. Who knows what's going to happen with this economy, right? But to securitize something, right? So you can lock in, what your monthly payment is going to be for that house, and rents are skyrocketing. There's no control over that. You got to control what you can control in real estate in your life, right? I mean, that's something a lot of leaders I follow, that's all they say is control what you can control. And that's something we can, is how much, knowledge is power, and securitizing and investment in your home is super important.
And I tell people, and I tell everybody on the team, that your home isn't an asset. It's not a liability. All it is a forced savings plan.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to force you to save, because every time you make that payment, you're paying down your debt and you're getting a little bit more savings. And then if the market appreciates, that's bonus, right?
Yeah.
I get a little bit extra, but this forces me to have a savings plan. And majority of people, according to so many statistics, cannot withstand a $1,000 emergency. Well, this is how we build that. This is how we build that wealth, because it's forcing me to create wealth.
Correct. And cool. Well, yeah, that was something I really want to talk about. And in addition, yesterday we had you had a social media education course for agents, and you had an amazing turnout with Haley Davis. And I really enjoyed it. And it was really cool because social media, you can leverage it. There's so many free platforms where you can do it, keywords free. And, there's so many, and there's, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and it's kind of like overwhelming. And you kind of simplified it and broke down each one and kind of talked about, don't be a jack of all trades, master of none, to dive into ones that fit your lane and to know your audience. What are some ways that you guys are leveraging social media that's helping you guys do win deals and educate your customer base and circle?
Well, a big part of what we're doing right now is a branding play. And there's a difference between branding and marketing. Branding is, hey, get to know me, get to know me, get to know me, get to know me. Marketing is, here's something that may interest you. Would you like to contact me and I'll help you? Those are two different conversations in how we do it. So using the branding platforms that are Instagram and TikTok, and just letting people see us, because like you said, there's so many things that are out there and there's so much noise, and we're all scrolling every day looking at some sort of content. So if I'm not in that content, you are going to forget about me. And I don't want you to forget about me. And because if you do, you're going to choose a different agent or you're going to choose a different lender. And then I feel bad because I have a feeling that they're not going to give you the educated, informed decision-making process that we give our clients. So it's my duty to be in front of you. And it may be annoying to somebody who's a good friend of mine who has to see all, my just sold pieces and all those other things, but that's there to let you know, like, we are an accomplished team that are winning at the highest level. That is the most important information I'm putting out there right now, because what I'm doing is I'm telling buyers and sellers, our team wins and we're going to help you win. But I'm also telling other agents, hey, if you feel like you're missing out on this market, if you join us, you can be a part of this. So I'm having two different conversations at the same time. So branding wise, that's the big tactic for us. So we're going after, the high frequency open rates. So we're going after Instagram. We're going after those stories. We're going after reels, and we're creating that content. I'm just hiring right now a team out of Dallas, Texas. They're going to do all my reels. So I'm going to shoot for 2 hours once a week, a bunch of videos about the market, and they're going to cut it up and make it look pretty and post it for me. Because at the end of the day, my job is to help my team buy and sell more houses, and it's to educate my community. It's not to be a production company. And a lot of people get lost in the production company side of it because they think they have to do it all, but they don't. I mean, there's so many economic ways that you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, let the experts do the work. And I think to everything you said, the main thing, especially for the younger generations, the millennials and the Gen Zs, it makes you accessible. And there's something you said in the social media class yesterday is that, a lot of the younger generations, they're not like, if you pick up the phone and call them, that's like disruptive marketing. They're going to be like, they're tripped out about that, but when you have this content constantly, they already know you kind of, and they can, send you a message directly via the phone, and it's more accessible. It's easier. It's more calming for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Opposed to, it's just super rare that someone's going to call an expert agent like yourself out of the blue and be like, I want to go see a house, but they may see something that you post and say, I like that. How would I start doing something like that? And then you can set up the call, and they already kind of know you just through, your social media. And that's the future, I think, for sure.
I mean, it's happening right now. And when we talk about people who are under the age of 30, like 27 and below, they're social media natives. They've been operating in this space for so long that it's how they breathe, it's how they operate. Like their best friends, they have their Facebook groups and their Snap groups. Like they don't have Facebook groups, it's under 27.
Yeah.
But they're native to this. So this is really easy for them. It's for the folks who are not native to this space that you have to like get out of your comfort zone and learn how to do it, so you can be communicating with those upwardly mobile, socially, digital natives that are already there. So you have to communicate with them. And then the other aspect of it, the interruption marketing aspect of it, is understanding who your audience is and how do they want to communicate. Because again, if I'm talking to somebody who's 42 years old, if I send them something on WhatsApp, they're going to be like, why are you sending me to this social media platform that I don't understand, that I don't know how to communicate with?
Right.
I have to communicate with them in their voice. But if I hang out with a 23-year-old new agent and they want to operate on that system, on a new system, like I have to learn that because I have to be able to communicate with them on their platform. And it's them getting to know, love, and trust me. And that's when they step out and reach out and say, Steve, I'm raising my hand. I'm interested in working with you in Porchlight.
That diversity is going to make you super successful. So that's awesome. And I wanted to ask you too, since, you know, I look up to your business and love your drive. And I think you're super creative in the way you're building your business. Who are some of your bigger influences that you have, you know, in real estate and in general? Who's out there that you're looking up to, looking at as far as your influences go?
Well, it's interesting because I don't really look at real estate agents as my influences. And maybe that's what makes me a little bit different. I look at a lot of marketers, a lot of digital marketers on what they're doing. And I look at people who own big businesses because, you know, the big issue I've found with agents that I've coached and business owners that I've coached is that they're operating in such a small bucket. They think that their business has to fit in this small cup, and it can be so much bigger. But if you start building big from the beginning, if you mentally start saying, how do I make this a multi-million-dollar business? You make very different decisions as opposed to how do I get my next client?
Right.
Because if I'm building a multi-million-dollar business,
like a super macro view, kind of a macro view of everything and how to get to that end goal, it kind of directs you to it.
Well, because if I'm building a big business, I'm building systems that support each other, that have interaction. But if I'm thinking about, I'm just trying to get my next client, everything revolves around me. And if everything revolves around me, I cannot grow. Right. So that's why my influences end up being, one of my mentors is Mark Pattison out of San Diego. He is a real estate agent. He runs Porchlight San Diego. His team will sell probably 1,200 homes this year. But also he owns a bunch of other companies because he's thinking on that macro scale. There's a guy named Alex Hormozy, who is the most remarkable marketer. He understands so much about how to communicate with people at a high level, but dialed down. He's just thinking of it at a whole other level. And then one of my favorite mentors is Sharon Sarvati. He's out of San Diego. He took a company from, I think it was like 5 or 10 agents to 300 and sold it to Douglas Elliman for multi-millions. But I follow Sharon, and I've been fortunate enough through social media to be able to like have actual conversations with him. Like a guy who's sold multi-million-dollar businesses multiple times, DMing with me, like that doesn't happen 5 years ago, right?
Right.
Doesn't happen 10 years ago.
It goes back to the accessibility thing, you know? So if these platforms, like what an opportunity, right? For you to actually have conversations with them that, you know, in the 90s, how could you do that? You're going to call them on the land phone, he'll never pick up, you know?
Yeah. And the reason why I connect with Sharon is Sharon has found a way to balance his humanity with his business. There's a lot of people out there who are just like hustle, hustle, drive, 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 hustle, hustle. And where I am in my life is, how do I balance being a great dad when I have my kids and being a great business owner when I have my team? And that is the most important thing in my life. It's how do I keep that balance and make sure when I'm with them, as opposed to with them and like making phone calls and doing texts, because I don't want to do that with them. So I'm building a business that supports that. And Sharon teaches me how to do that through his influences and stuff like that. And when it comes to marketing, Grant Cardone, I mean, you can't miss the guy. Like, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk, you can't miss the guy. They are in your face in the most wonderful way because you don't lose them. So different influences for different things. Like for marketing, we got Grant Cardone. For humanity, it's Sharon. For marketing and understanding copywriting, it's Alex Hormozy. It's finding my mentors for the tool that needs improvement in my business and in my life.
And I'm gonna look those up, and I'll put them in the bottom so the listeners can check out those, because I want to comb through those guys too and what they're up to. That's awesome.
They're phenomenal.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, I just wanted to share all that with you. What's anything that you'd like to share with everybody in the future? What's the hopes and the goals for the future for Porchlight Florida, Steve Shane and company? What do you guys have cooking? What's the goals?
Ideally, Porchlight, we're gonna break 100 units this year, and then we'll double it next year. It's going to be a challenge next year because the market's going to shift to a balanced market. So it's going to take a lot more work to sell as many homes as we have in the past few years. But with the right team members, we believe we can do it. And really just continuing to build out the systems that deliver a really high quality experience for our consumers. Something that is my personal mission is every single transaction for Porchlight should be a friction-free transaction for the consumer. The agent is going to experience all that friction, but the consumer should never feel the pain of the transaction.
I've heard so many times, like, obviously in this business, you get kind of, bogged down with stuff that you have to take care of, but that's why, it's so important to have an agent and a lender, a good lender, you know what I mean? Or great title company or great insurance agent, because those problems are why we exist, right? If it was easy, then there would just be a fee paid and that'd be it. But because it's tough is why, our roles are so important. And real estate transaction is one of the biggest transactions that you can have ever. So it's important that we're spot on and make the customer feel at ease as we go through it,
Yeah, the last thing we want to do is remind them how much debt they're about to take on. So let's just focus them on moving into the house and being happy, and securing their forced savings plan.
Yep. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're busy, so I wanted to talk to you because you're a great guy. And I love working with you. So thanks so much for your time, Steve.
I appreciate it, bud. We're going to get out there and surf together soon. I promise.
Let's get out there. I'm ready.
All right. Be well.
All right, man. See ya.